Okay, hello, and welcome to part one of Game Plan 2020 to help your business. And we're going to be looking at auditing 2020 and then the start of goal setting for 2021. So this will be likely a three-part series. And let's get going. I'm going to share my screen. If I remember how to do it. Oh, it's the green one. Okay. Oh, look at all the things here we've got going on. Okay. Game plan. There must be like a more elegant way to do this, I swear. Oh, what is this? I am not authorized. Don't even. Okay, hold on. Present. Okay, well, we're just going to look at it small. Thank you so much. All right. Well, it's still going to work. It's mad because I called it not elegant. Okay, so as I said in our thread, one of my themes for 2021 is rise and shine. And I've got these blocks now over by my window that say the same thing. And I'm really embracing my words. And we're going to talk about the importance of those words in a minute too. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is do an audit of 2020. As we know, Fraser Brooks is very big on tracking and numbers. And he uses a lot of examples in the training where you look at these numbers that you have 10 years from now, and they can actually be very inspiring for other people, because when you become very successful, people will go, oh, I just can't get there. But everyone needs to know that you started at the same place, right? Like I remember in my first year, my check was, I think, $501 in my first year. And it was just enough to get that tax slip, right? Where I got to declare my business and everything, right? So it was, I think it was $500, it was like $2 over. And then it grew, and it's been growing steadily ever since, right? So the first thing, okay, so there's going to be homework during tonight. So you might want to take some notes, even though we will be recording. I am recording this, right? So finding out what was your biggest blessing this year. Okay, your biggest blessing. This is both a blessing and a lesson together. So I was thinking about this, and I'm like, mine was that I finally went all in with this business, right? And that was because I stopped working it in August to renovate our house, right? Because we were selling our house, and I still got a sizable check. And it really, like, everything clicked. And I know that before that, even though I've been very enthusiastic and I've been very passionate about what I'm doing here, I still had one foot out the door. Right. And I've made a decision now that I'm actually going to be going down to 3 days a week for September, because in the way it works in the school system, you have to plan for that in January, February. I have not told my boss yet, but it'll be okay. But I'm going to go down to three days a week, and that's my final step before I retire, right? And I've set that date for June 30th, 2023, but it might be earlier, right? So, woohoo! And then what was your word for 2020? So I always pick a word or a mantra, and I've been doing this for years, but apparently so do other people. And mine last year was abundance, right? I wanted to move from a mindset of lack to a mindset of abundance. And I did all sorts of things to do this. I stopped saying things like, I can't afford it. Instead, I said, I will earn it, right? It was at the top of my vision board that I had. It was literally like abundance 2020 with a few different goals and then a bunch of pictures. And we're going to talk about vision boarding at the end. I also did the abundance 21-day meditation challenge 4 times. So I had been meaning to do it for a long time, didn't make the time, right? And it was one of those things. I did it before. No, I did it. So I just did it whenever I could. I'm now in a much more regimented meditation schedule, which is funny to think of it that way. But I meditate twice a day, every day now, with starting in the morning, and I get up half an hour early in order to do it. I get up at 5:30 in the morning now on weekdays. So I did all these things with abundance. And guess what? It worked. I am bad debt free. I moved into a beautiful home that I can afford. Like it was it's been incredible. I bought skis and snow boots and all the snow gear and everything and a season's pass this year because skiing was on that same dream board. Okay, so it's very, very important. And it's so funny how when I look at it, I'm like, okay, there were some things on their trips, right? There was 2 trips to Vegas for business. There was a road trip to Drumheller. And at the beginning of the year, I thought those were a lock. I was like, I know I'm going to achieve those things, but I still want to make sure I do. So I put them on there. But I thought they'd be like, guess what? They all got canceled and so are now going to be postponed or shifted into other things. Yet debt free, make money from a blog, do this. Like there was all these things on there that I thought, oh, that's just, that's just a wish. And like that's so far-fetched. And those are the things that I achieved. So your word is very important. So I love this. So this came from the training that I did. If you can see it in your mind, you can feel it in your hands, right? And we're also going to talk about actually having experiences that will lead to these things. Like I am going to test drive a Tesla Model X this month in January, right? Because that's the car that I want. And so I'm going to go test drive it. Anyways, getting ahead of myself. And then what was your biggest win of 2020? So we're also very, very interested in what is your win, no matter how small, no matter how big. For me, it was becoming bad debt free. Like the only debt that I have now is a car payment. It's not even my car. And so, but it's again, like it's not non-issue, but to have all that credit card and 3 credit cards paid off and to have, no line of credit wiped out. It's wonderful. It's really, really wonderful feeling. Okay, so that was my biggest win. So you want to write down what your biggest win was as well. Okay, so now you need to do audit the year. Okay, so this took me about about an hour to do. So I have done my audit. And so I'll show you guys afterwards, but I created a Google form and I'm going to show you my numbers, right? Because I'm not ashamed of them by any means, right? And you know me, I'm all about transparency. So how much money was I paid from your business, right? How much money were you paid in 2020? You will want to have that. And that one took some time because I had to go through and look at all my checks, right? And there's a couple ways you can do it in your back office, but I actually just went to I think I went to my bank statements because I needed to do a few other things. I needed to find the coaching and events and whatnot. Okay, also social media following. How many followers and friends do you have on all your social media platforms? So how many on Facebook? How many on Instagram? How many in email list, YouTube, LinkedIn? So you would only do the ones that you have, right? So I do have an email list, right? So because I have a website and a blog, I do have a YouTube channel. So I have subscribers and I don't think they're all just you guys. Actually, I know they aren't because I do have people who comment who I don't know. And then LinkedIn. LinkedIn is something I want to engage with more. I'm actually more interested in LinkedIn than Instagram at this point. But just because it's business focused, right? Like, why not? It's like that is the platform for business. So I want to take a look at that. And I know there's some trainings that we can do about that. Okay, so you total these up and then you're going to keep them. And then you're going to see how much you grow over the next year. Investments. How much money did you invest in yourself? This year for me was the most expensive year for me to invest in myself. And it's been absolutely 100% worth it. So I am now investing in the future because of what I've done with this. So coaching, I finally opened up the idea of having a coach for 2020. And I started exploring options in, I want to say February, right? Start joining groups, lots of coaches out there. And I wasn't quite sure, but nothing was fitting. And then I did a $30 session or a $30 course for like a day with Fraser Brooks and went, this is my guy. This is my guy. So I joined his inner circle, which was not cheap. And yeah. So then events, okay, so I went to 2 traveled events. So when we were in Cancun, right, I didn't count like what I spent on my family to be there. I just counted like if I was to go by myself, how much would that have cost, as well as my event ticket for our global convention. books. How many books did you buy? How much did you spend on that? Courses. So I spent a reasonable amount of money on how to build a blog. Totally worth it. Now, while I realize the blog isn't the big money maker because it's not duplicable, right? Like it's very difficult to duplicate unless somebody really, really wants to do it. But it has been a wonderful tool that has also given me like cred, right? Like you're a credible authority. And very clearly that the more you invest in yourself, the increased chance that you can make more money, because a lot of the network marketing is a personal development business. The more you work on yourself, as long as you're also doing the actions, and remember, for every hour that you spend on personal development, you spend an hour on action, right? Otherwise you get stuck in a wheel of learning, and no doing. And doubt kills action, but action kills doubt, right? So the more because a lot of our leaders, what they say is just do it, right? And and it's true. You have to just start to do it and not worry about the no's, because we actually get paid for no's, right? Also, how many active customers are in your organization? I actually found that in my back office, and active distributors in your organization. Now, distributors who are ordering product but not working will count on your like in the numbers, right? But I could actually find out how many active distributors I had. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And basically means they've placed an order or they have enrolled a customer or distributor this year. Okay, now let's take a look at my numbers. What? Are you kidding me? I don't know what is going on here. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna show everybody my password. Something's up with, oh, here we go. Okay. It's just another security measure. Okay, the year was 2020. I was paid $12,744.95. On Facebook, I have 2204 friends and followers. Now, if we had taken my number in November 2019, because I remember I started really focusing on this, I think it was about 1,400. So I have easily, yeah, I would say it's been about 800 new friends and followers on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram very much, so I have 440. In LinkedIn, 286, on my YouTube channel, 16, and my email list, 24. So my grand total is 2,970. I spent 4,727.50 on coaching and courses, totally worth it. Events and subscriptions, right? So I have subscriptions like for Bluehost for my website. I have subscriptions for Zoom to have, those kinds of things. These are all things that I've invested in now because I am ready to grow. Okay, I'm ready to grow on multiple levels. And so my grand total there was 8,240, right? So I probably broke even this year, but all my hair care, skin care, activators, products, I take all the things. I take literally everything that we have, and all of that is paid for, which is lovely to be able to have that. Okay. Active customers in my organization, 275, not bad, and active distributors, 13. So not bad, but definitely room for growth, right? So I am pretty psyched about that. Okay, next. Okay, so now your homework, right, because you want to have this done before January 1st, is to complete your own audit by December 31st, 2020, because then we can move on from that. Find someone to look up to and emulate. And this is an interesting thing because I want to pursue a more humble type of leadership. Okay, so this is one of the things that has come to me. I don't want to lose my sass, that's for sure. And Mark Shansato is a very humble leader, and he is a master pro 10 in our company. And I'm thinking I am going to look into his training a little bit more. And that was just from today. I didn't know who it was going to be. But then I was on our team call with Aloha, and I just went, huh. We've seen him in person. He is always very gracious. He's a humble dude. And I really, really like that. And so I feel like that's a direction that I'm going to be going. And so I'm open to certainly to other people, but when someone just lands on your lap, when you're thinking, I need to find a humble leader, like the Dalai Lama, he's a humble, powerful person, right? But I don't know if he's as available to me as Mark is. So there we go. So find someone to maybe look up to and emulate. Could be someone you know, could be someone you don't. It doesn't really matter. And then also to brainstorm your possible and choose your word for 2021. And mine is focus. Mine is focus. And we're going to talk about the importance of this word. One of my phrases is rise and shine. Another word is humble. Another word is focus. But focus is the one that has been it's been coming in. And it's interesting to me because focus for me at first, I was just like, okay, I'm going to get really focused on the business. But focus is also about clarity, right? Becoming very clear about the vision and then focus on how to make that happen. So I'm really liking the multi-levels, the multi-layers of this word for me. Okay, moving into goal setting. So network marketing is positioned very, very well for 2021, right? So people are learning that they need to, like, working from home, be able to income from home, where everything is taken care of, there's no parties, there's no nothing, it's just your online presence. You can really do it. You still do it on the phone, even if you can't meet face to face. So it is positioned very, very well. And the key to our success is consistency. And I'm really seeing this for myself and for the people who are showing up for our blitz calls. Okay, these are people who are doing they're being the most successful at enrolling customers, and distributors are the ones who are doing this action. And that is because it is very structured and it's very consistent when you are doing it. So it's become very obvious. And on January 1st, I will be posting our incentive my incentive for our team. There's going to be two, there'll be one each month, and then there's going to be an ongoing one, and they are going to be based on action. Okay. Now, it does not mean you have to get up at 6:20 in the morning with us each time, but if you're running your own blitz calls or whatever, that's going to be totally fine. So also, we need to pick your word for 2021. We just talked about this, but you want to have it all over the place so you see it all the time. So maybe your word is consistency, right? It's the key to success. That's a really good word, right? Right? I think just success is not particularly a good word, but consistency sure is. Because when you consistently work the plan will work for you. And I am going to be laying out an entire plan that I learned from my coach. So you get to benefit from what I learned that I'm paying for from my coach, but it absolutely benefits me to share that with you, right? So it's this wonderful, wonderful synergistic relationship. Post-its, put it on your screensaver, put it in your car. So I went onto Amazon and I went focus stickers, right? And after I got through all the forward focus things, I was like, okay. And I found it's going to fit right here on my computer. And I ordered it in purple, and I'll explain later, maybe not on this call, but afterwards, why I'm choosing purple. And it says focus. I ordered 10 of them, and it's clear backed. It's going to go in the mirrors in my bathroom. It's going to go in the kitchen. It's going to go in the car. So I ordered 10 of them. I'm going to have one at work, right? And so anytime that I'm like, I just really want to go look at shoes on blah, 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 I'll see the focus and I'll go, okay, no, I want to go redirect, right? Because that's really what I want. So you want to have it all over the place. And then you're going to decide, this is interesting, what your real goal is for the year. You actually don't know it yet, right? I didn't know that my real goal was to be debt-free, right? Or bad debt-free, because I do have a little debt, right? But it was on there and I looked at it. My vision board is in a place in my office at work where I'm looking at it all the time, right? It's actually the students sit in front of it. And so I'm even like when we're talking, I can still see it, right? And so I'm focused on them. I'm paying attention to them, but it's just all I have to do is turn and I can see all the things, right? So how do we get there, right? So how do we get to what our real goal is? Okay, so there's a couple different things you're going to do. I'm going to do this first activity with my family on December 31st. Okay, it's December 31st. We're going to get an enormous piece of paper, and with them, we're going to write down all the different goals that we have for 2021. Okay, so because it's a very interesting point, whereas like I might think that a trip to, okay, so I do think a trip up north to see the aurora borealis is like it's on my list. You'll see for one of the next activities. But really, they just want to go to Disney World, right? So we get them on board with what is going to be. So it can be literally as small as buy a new pair of socks, or donate X amount of money to charity, or take my family away for a week to wherever you can go, right? So, and you're just going to cover that page in all sorts of things that you want. And this is really cool. Just because you set a goal for 2021 does not mean that you have to hit it this year. Okay, it does not mean that, but setting it is very, very important. So one of the examples that Fraser gives is he says like his dad, I guess they were 10 and it was a really rainy day and they got all this big piece of paper and they all like they were designing their dream house, right? Their dream house. It needed this big kitchen, it needed this, a pool, it needed this, a snooker table, it needed this, it needed all these things. And they all brainstorm. And then 8 years later, they built it. And dad pulls out the rolled up piece of paper and unrolls it and it's like, is anything missing? And they were like, right? So it's that, remember, if you can see it, you can feel it, right? So it's really, really important to have these things in visual places. And when you involve your family and you say, oh, mommy needs red time, which is a time management thing. So we haven't covered this, I don't think yet, but I've been using it very successfully with my family for the last since the holidays started. All my time is chunked into green, yellow, or red time. Green time is family only. No work, no phone, no nothing. Yellow time is business and family time together, right? So we're watching something on TV and I'm like, not particularly into it. I'm allowed to be on my phone, right? We're still hanging out, right? Or when I was putting this together, right? Archer was playing with Lego on the table next to me. And so I'm doing this together. And I was like, hey, do you want some yellow time? And he's like, sure. So he came over, like they're using the language, right? And then red time is do not disturb mommy. Like right now is red time, not allowed to come. The door's locked. The only person who doesn't understand green, yellow, and red time is my cat. Who seems to think that she gets me around all the time. Okay. So I'll do another session on time management another time, but that's been so helpful. Like Kate will be like, Mom, is this red time? I'll be like, no, it's yellow or whatever. And so they get it and then they know what the boundaries are. So 87%, most of us know this already, but 87% people don't hit their New Year's goals because they were too big, right? Oh, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. No, you should say you want to lose 3 pounds, right? 3 pounds, and then lose another 3 pounds, and then lose another 3 pounds, and then lose another 3 pounds until you hit 21, right? Like it's when people say, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to quit drinking entirely or whatever. It's like, no, that's a tough one for many of us. So, although one of my goals is to severely cut down the amount of wine that I'm drinking, starting today. Actually, we're not even waiting for New Year's. And we have a plan. So it's really good. Okay, so your dare. Now this one, so he says, this is so hard. And I'm on day 2 and I'm not finding it that hard yet. Okay. You are to write down 30 goals per day for the next 14 days, which will be 420 goals. Day 1, day 2. So I'm going to start, I've done the 2. It is incredible what you come up with and how hard it is. But I forgot something, like, oh, look at this. One of mine is be able to drive KJ to auditions, right? My son is a actor and like he's in musical theater and stuff, right? And we have not even had an opportunity to do any of that because I'm working, parents are working, everything's working. I'm like, I forgot that I said I wanted that like 3 years ago. And that just came to me like 45 minutes ago, right? There's a lot of the things on here, like trips and, wanting to do this, I might run a marathon. I've got retire from my work. Some of these I've had for years, visit all 7 continents, 5 down. 2 to go. And like, Tesla Model X, but underneath, so I have like Tesla Model X, own it, but then I have test drive a Tesla Model X. So guess which one I'm doing first? January. I will be booking that. I've already looked into it, right? I showed Archer like how the doors come up. He was like, whoa. Okay. So there's all sorts of things on here. And we'll talk a bit more about how to fine tune those in a minute. You'll be shocked by what you come out with. And this activity sets goals for you for years, right? So Fraser says he actually does it every year. But I mean, it's so cool to start ticking these things off, right? And it helps you with your vision big time, big time, big time, big time. We're almost done. Okay. So first step. So over the next 14 days, 30 goals a day. Then after that, and we'll do this in 2 weeks' time, okay? After that, you will prioritize your top 20. You will go through and say, like, what are my top 20 goals in here? You will then categorize them, which we'll talk about in a minute. And you will then attach a why to each so that you become emotionally invested with each one. And then you will use those to make your vision board. Okay. All right. So we're doing good. It's very important that your goals are balanced in 5 categories. And this, I think this is genius. So he had a pie chart, but I was having trouble making a pie chart. And I was really rushed when I was doing this. So they need to be divided into finances, family, faith, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's faith in yourself, whether it's your religion, whether it's your spirituality, doesn't matter, fitness and fun. Okay. So for me, so when I wanted to drive KJ to auditions, that's family. When I want the Tesla Model X, I'm like, that's finances and fun, right? When I want to do a charter boat to the Galapagos, that's family and fun, right? So we categorize them, right? Be more connected with my inner with source, right? Like that's a faith one for me. Run a marathon. That's a fitness one for me. So they need to be balanced, because if all your goals are financial, right? Like say all 20 goals are financial, but your family hates you because all you do is work, you are out of balance, right? If all you do is work and you don't have any fun, you won't continue, because a lot of the things we do are just because we want more fun in our lives, right? If you gain 300 pounds because all you're doing is away at your computer, you are not going to have like the life, right? So you can kind of get it, right? Okay. And this is the last one. Okay. And then you'll take a look at your 20 goals and then score each category. How many are financial, family, faith, finances, business, and fun? And this will tell you how heavily focused you are on each and where you need to shift. If everything is just about spending time with your family, but not financial, that's not going to fit, right? So ideally you would have 4 to 5 of each with some flexibility. Okay, and then you take each of the 20, and you write your why for each of them. And then you will create a vision board with those 20 things that you desire. And these are just some other things, these other little expressions that came up in the training for me that were like, I grasped onto it. Number 1, say no to more things in 2021, because when you say yes to something, it means you're saying no to something else, and vice versa. So I need to clean up my diet so that I have the right fuel for a marathon. So if I go and eat a bunch of cheeseburgers and pizza 3 weeks before my marathon, even though I'm like, my body's it's not going to work, right? So I need to say no to cheeseburgers and pizza because I really want the marathon, right? Things like that, right? But also, someone say you're trying to save for something, right? And then someone says, hey, we're going away for the weekend, or, well, I guess that's a bad example, right? I think you get what I'm saying, right? So saying yes to something means saying no to something else. So he's like saying, say no to more things so that you can focus on this. The whole goal in life is progression, right? Growing and changing. And that's what makes it exciting, right? So I'm very excited about 2021. I'm more pumped, I think, than I have ever been. I just feel like it's time to rise and shine, right? Like I really feel like it. And this was very interesting to me. The level that you play at will dictate the limit of the level that your team plays at, right? So if you're not dreaming big, or if your goals are things that you can already achieve, they're not goals. You've already achieved them, right? So you want to make so you're like going, okay, rise. See, you're gonna hear me, you're probably gonna get so sick of it, but I don't care. I love it. And I am down. And to live your life on purpose, right? On purpose, being purposeful about it, but also like on purpose, like because we only have one. All right. Okay, I think that's the end for today. So I'm going to stop the recording. I'll stop share first. So we all got to see my thing. And thanks very much for checking this out. And we'll be back next week.